Hello, hello, hello everyone. This is Anne and welcome to my channel In Search of Wonder. And I have today this mug, which is very springy with, it's either an apple blossom or a cherry blossom tree on there because I am going to be giving you my March TBR and my March plans. That sounds good. I am ready for winter to be done. Let's start with my Reading the Classics challenge, and I have some recommendations for the March prompt for you, and then I will tell you what else I've got going on in March here on the channel, and yeah, let's get going. First of all, for the Reading the Classics challenge, the prompt for March is a children's classic. I specifically chose that prompt to coordinate with a huge reading event that happens in March, hosted by Cristo at Books and Jams and a couple of other channels, and that is Middle Grade March. And classic middle grade fiction is a perfect accompaniment for this channel. In fact, this year, serendipitously, their group read is none other than The Secret Garden, which could not be more perfect because not only is it one of my favorite children's classics ever, but also it totally fits with the scavenger hunt items. So the scavenger hunt items are siblings, a mother, which is traditionally very difficult to find in children's classics, and a pet. And The Secret Garden has all of those. So in The Secret Garden, there are a brother and a sister duo who play a huge part in the life of the main character, Mary. And that is Dickon and his sister, Martha. I was like, it's not Mary. Mary Lennox is the main character, Martha. Dickon and his sister, Martha. And they are a brother and sister, and they play a huge role in the story, although they are side characters. They're not the main characters at all, but they have an important role, and they just have a beautiful family story. And they really pour life into Mary Lennox, and I just love that. Also, their mother is one of the best examples of a mother in classic children's literature. Very difficult to find. Again, she's a side character. Actually, most of the time she's off page. We don't really interact with her a lot, but she is there, so that counts. And then as far as pets go, this may be a bit of a stretch, but there is a very important Robin in the story of The Secret Garden, who is kind of a pet, not only to Mary Lennox, but to the gardener at the estate where Mary Lennox lives. So you can cross off a whole bunch of things on your list if you choose to read The Secret Garden together with Middle Grade March this year. I would love to, because like I said, it's one of my favorites. I'm totally due for a reread, and it sounds like the perfect thing to read this March, so I might. But there is a book on my list of rereads for this year, and I have not done anything yet for my rereads list. So I am behind on it already, and that is Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill was also one of my favorite reads as a child. It is by Louisa Alcott, and I, as a child, loved it even more than Little Women or some of her other more popular books. I just love both the characters of Jack and Jill, and I just loved everything about the story, and I read it several times when I was young, but I've not read it since then, so I want to revisit it and reread it and see what I think now. I love this copy that I got off of Thrift Books. It has this beautiful illustration on the inside cover. I love that. Anyway, so Jack and Jill, the problem with this one is that I am not sure how many of the scavenger hunt prompts it fits. I think that there are sibling groups in there, but I'm not sure, like Jack and Jill are not siblings, and I'm not sure if either of their siblings play any kind of a role in the story. I know that there are mothers. I believe both Jack and Jill each have very involved mothers in the story, as far as I remember. And as far as pets, I have no idea. I don't know if there is a pet in this story or not. So it's not a perfect fit for March for me, but it's on my reread list, and I really, really, really want to read it again. And I have been wanting to for a while, and it starts out in winter and then it moves on through the year. So I feel like March would be the perfect time to read that seasonally. So I'm leaning towards this one, but you might find me reading The Secret Garden as well. We'll see. I do have some recommendations for you as far as the prompt goes and the scavenger hunt ones. All of these books that I'm going to recommend have, as far as I can remember, all of the scavenger hunt items in them. So the first one is, besides the two I've already mentioned, is Charlotte's Web. What more can be said about that one? If you haven't read that one, you need to. It's a must read in children's classics. And then the Moffatts by Eleanor Estes. There's a whole series there, and it's about a family called the Moffatts. There is a mother. There's not a father. There is a mother. And it's the children and their antics growing up and the things that they get into. I do believe there is a cat in the story, if I remember correctly. The All of a Kind family is set in New York. What it's missing is a pet. There's no pet. But these books are short, easy reads. Again, it's a series about a family, and it's a whole entire family unit with a mother and a father. Strong sibling relationships, strong sibling dynamics. I absolutely loved that series when I was a preteen. The Five Little Peppers and How They Grew by Margaret Sidney, I just read recently, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is very similar to Little Women. Like, it has a lot of Little Women vibes. Some people critique it by saying that Margaret Sidney was riffing off of Little Women and stealing from Little Women. My opinion is that authors do that all the time. They write and rewrite stories. It didn't bother me. I enjoyed it. She put her own twist on it. It was her own story. Again, you have a strong family. There is a mother in this case, not a father. And I don't specifically remember about the pet. I feel like there is a pet that comes into play in the story, but my memory is a little bit iffy on that one. Then we have Little Women, which again is a sibling unit with a strong mother character, one of the most famous of children's literature. We all know Marmee. And the pets don't play a huge part in this story, but Beth does have cats. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Beth has cats. That's one of the things that she really loves. And then the Little House series, again, strong sibling relationships, sibling dynamics, strong family unit, including a mother and a father. Caroline is one of the best mothers in literature as well. She's very stern with her children, and she has very, very, very high standards for their behavior, but she is a loving and involved mom, and their family is just a beautiful family. And they do have a pet. I believe the dog's name is Jack. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. And then the last one I want to mention is Sarah, Plain and Tall. Now, Sarah is technically a stepmom, but that's a mother figure. And then there are siblings in there, and they live on a farm. So there may not be like specifically a pet, but there are, animals there. Those are my recommendations that fit both the prompt and the scavenger hunt items. So let me know if you plan to read any of those or what book you have chosen to read. I always love to hear people's picks. And also join me on my Discord server where we can discuss the books that we're reading each month, and we can all compare notes on the books that we find and whether or not we find the scavenger hunt items. The challenge for March is to unhaul a book. Just one. That's all I'm asking for. Now, usually to go along with the challenges, I have a giveaway, and this month is no different. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of that in a second. But first, I will tell you, I haven't set up the giveaway on Kingsumo yet, but I'm hoping when I do to provide a prompt that is a daily entry, a possible daily entry, and it's going to be on the honor system, guys. So, be honest, that you can enter on a daily basis for every book that you unhaul throughout the month of March. Now, don't be entering that daily entry unless you actually have unhauled a book. Okay? That's the idea. That's the purpose behind it. That's how I'm hoping to set it up. So anyway, that is unhauling a book, the challenge. I am already doing that because, as I said, I purchased an unabridged copy of The Count of Monte Cristo, so I will be getting rid of this abridged copy. That is my unhaul number one. Hopefully I will unhaul some more, but we'll see how that goes. As for the giveaway will be open on March 1st. So I will have a separate video about that. So this is not announcing the giveaway. I'm just giving you a little sneak peek at what I will be offering for the month of March. Want to see inside? So come back on March 1st to enter that giveaway. Speaking of Jane Austen, for the Jane Austen birthday celebration, our activity this month, our special video that Charlene and I are doing is actually not a video at all. It is going to be a watch party of the Emma Thompson Sense and Sensibility. And that, I hope, will be happening on my Discord server. I'm hoping I can figure out how to do that. Yeah. So anyways, that's the plan. That's the plan. I have participated in them before, but I've never hosted one. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're going to be watching the Emma Thompson Sense and Sensibility together because we just read that one. So that will be later in March, towards the middle end of March. I will get you the exact date as soon as I know. Probably I'll put that in the announcement video for the giveaway. We'll have it nailed down by then. It's probably going to be a Thursday or a Friday evening in March. So I hope that you will be able to make it, and that will be a lot of fun. The book that we're going to read in the month of March is Cecilia by Fanny Burney. And I'm really excited about this because I read Evelina by Frances Burney quite a few years ago now. And I have always wanted to read her other books, but I haven't yet. So I really want to read Cecilia, and I am excited about that one. I'm just in the process of trying to find a copy. I may end up borrowing from the library rather than actually purchasing because I'm seriously running out of room on my shelves, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so that brings me to the rest of my TBR. I've already mentioned a couple of things. Obviously, for the Reading the Classics challenge, I'm going to be reading Jack and Jill, which I showed you. For the Jane Austen birthday celebration, I will be reading Cecilia. And we are starting our buddy read of The Count of Monte Cristo in March. We're going to be reading that one as well. And as other challenges that I'm doing are the Read Your Shelf Challenge by Chantel, Reads All Day. And her challenge prompt for the month of March was time. And I am really struggling with her prompts this year. Like, it should be the easiest ever, but they've been really hard for me because I don't have books. Like, the size one for February, I had 0 books on my shelf that I hadn't read yet that had any sort of thing to do with any kind of size in the title. Like, you'd think that would be fairly easy to find and come across, but no, not on my shelves. And same thing with time. The only one I had was Midnight at Austenland, but that's the second in a series and I haven't read the first one. So I didn't want to read Midnight in Austenland. I do have one that's called Moonbow Night, so I may go with that one. That's by Laura Frantz, and I haven't read it yet. I may go with that one because I'm not sure I'm going to get in the mood for the one that I ended up actually picking, but I picked it because, I mean, how more perfect could you get? The title is The 5th of March. It is by Anne Rinaldi. It's been a long time since I've read anything by Anne Rinaldi. I read it as a teenager. She wrote young adult books when I was a young adult. And I've heard mixed things about her since that time. As far as her books go, some people I know haven't really loved her writing. So I am not sure if I will enjoy it or not, but she writes historical fiction for young adult. And I just think that's a great idea. And I remember enjoying the ones I read when I was a teenager. So this one is set on the 5th of March, and it is the story of the Boston Massacre. So it may be a little bit heavier than I'm going to feel in the mood for. So I don't know if I will, I'm not 100% on board with this. At the same time, it's perfect, right? The 5th of March. It fits the prompt, it fits the month, it fits all the things. And it is a pretty cover to boot. And it's on my shelf and I need to read it and decide if I want to keep it or not. So, you know, my plan is to pick it up and to start it. And if I'm not feeling it, then I will DNF it and I may even unhaul it. And then that would fit for the challenge as well. So we're going to give this one a go and see what happens. For Jeanette's Christian Fiction Challenge, the prompt for March is to read a book set outside your home country. And in my Christian fiction collection of books I have yet to read actually on my shelf, which is where I was looking, I had a really hard time with that. Now, there are plenty of Christian fiction books that I want to read that I could get at the library or elsewhere that are not set in the US, so I could definitely go with them, and I'm leaving that option open. But the one on my shelf that I do want to read is called Cross Lines by Jennifer Delamere, and it is set in London. And I bought this on clearance or something at christianbook.com, I think, maybe a couple of years ago, and I just haven't read it yet, and I really do want to. I read one other thing by Jennifer Delamere, and I enjoyed it. These are good, easy, fun reads, and I need more of that in my March lineup, so I'm definitely not reading anything more complicated than this. I'm going to go for easy read here. So this is definitely a possibility for me for that challenge. Also, as I've already mentioned, we are going to be reading The Power of Prayer in the complete works of, well, I'm reading it from the complete works of, Power Through Prayer. I got the title wrong. I'm reading it from this bind up of the complete works of E.M. Bounds on Prayer. And one of my 50 by 50 goals is to read this whole book, or at least significant portions of it. There are 8 books in here. So Power Through Prayer is one of them, and I am excited to be reading this together with Tiffany and Kelly and Dia, and we are going to be having live discussions every Saturday in March. I will be at 2 or 3 of those discussions. So I'm really looking forward to this, and it's on a schedule of 3 chapters a week. And so I think that's very doable. I don't think it's a very long book, so that particular one. And then I have a few books that I am currently, as I'm filming this, we have about a week left in February, and they were on my February TBR, and I really want to read them. I don't want to just be like, oh, I didn't get to these ones in February, so I'm not going to read them. These are ones that I really want to read. It doesn't have to be in February. I want to read them. So if I don't finish them by the end in the next week, which I more than likely won't, they're going to carry into March. So that is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, If the Boot Fits by Karen Whitmire, 12 Ways Your Phone is Changing You by Toni Reinke, and The World Diaries by Hilary Burton Morgan. So these I need to finish. None of them I think are very difficult reads. I think they're all gonna be like easy breezy reading experiences. It's just a matter of me finding the time to fit them in, which is a big ginormous if. So I can guarantee some of these are going to be holding over until March. So I also am leaving space in my TBR for these for March, and I'm not adding any other pile of possibilities or potential mood reads or whatever. I want to finish these first. There are several events that I'm loosely participating in the month of March. And the first one is March of the Mammoths, which Count of Monte Cristo totally counts for that one. And then March Mystery Madness, which I honestly don't know right now, like what all the prompts were and everything like that. But if I don't get to And Then There Were None by the end of February, that will be in March. And so that will count for that. And I may also pick up another cozy mystery or something, a quick breezy mystery sort of read to go along with that. And then finally for middle grade March, I definitely will be reading either Jack and Jill or The Secret Garden, or both, if I'm in the mood for both. And also, the young adult is technically young adult and not middle grade, but the 5th of March one could go for that as well. I don't, at this point, have any other plans to participate in any of the middle grade March prompts or anything like that. But if I have time, we'll see. I'm just not really feeling in the mood for that this year, except for Jack and Jill and The Secret Garden. So those are the primary ones that I would go for. So those are my March plans, and both on the channel and in my reading life. Please let me know in the comments if you are planning on joining in any of these readathons, particularly in my Reading the Classics challenge and what you're choosing for that one. If you have any suggestions for others for the prompts and the scavenger hunt, and if you are planning to unhaul some books, let me know. I want to know all the things, and I will see you next time. Bye.